had just come out of a meeting when all of a sudden the ground started to shake. I screamed and grabbed onto one of the desks closest to me. Everyone was screaming and falling. When I started to rise myself to my feet, and the floor started tilting and everything slid across the floor. There was a huge explosion coming from the floor below, and the desks around me lurched forward. I scrambled to my feet and made a rush to the door where the other people were already filing out into the hallway. The building rocked slowly from side to side and smoke started to rise. It filled my lungs and I immediately threw myself belly flat on the floor. Many people were coughing and making choking sounds, but I didn't stop. Instead, I crawled my way through the mazes of corridors and until, after what seemed like hours, I found the exit. I was covered in scratches and bruises as I walked to the middle of the street. Then, all of a sudden, a loud cracking noise came from behind me. I turned around just in time to see the top half of the right tower fall. The last thing I remember is being pulled into an ambulance and waking up a couple of days later to hear what had happened and that I had been one of the few survivors. I want you to know that even though many lives were lost that day, we must always continue to move forward on their behalf.
I remember that day. It was a really sad day. I can't even think about it. I am the daughter of a man who died in the 9/11 incident. Many years have passed. I'll tell you a story. I was at home with my mom when I just heard a plane crash in the World Trade Center, but then another plane crashed above it, and then I realized my dad was in one of the planes. I knew my dad didn't survive. The airplane was covered in fires. I couldn't believe it. You know what I couldn't believe was that my dad wasn't one of them. People think that the people whose parents died will just overcome, but no, living without a family member is terrible, and you don't know how it feels. I remember when 10 years passed. I couldn't believe it. I have lived 10 years without my father. I will just say something. This will never disappear out of my mind. Just imagine losing somebody, trying to remember every moment you spent with that person. Horrible. Hopefully my dad is in a better place.
It was a normal day at the fire station. It was buzzing with noise. There were not so many calls, so we were kind of relaxing when it came. It didn't sound clear at first. They just told us to go immediately to the place where the twin towers were. So we did. When we got there, well, I wasn't prepared for what I saw. Dead bodies were already piling up on the entrance of the towers. My squad and I entered the building to rescue the few survivors that were left. Being in the flames was the worst part of as always, but now something far more horrible came to us. The fact that we were useless and powerless to stop such an enormous fire in time to save the people in the building. We did all we could, I guess, but it wasn't enough. Now every time I close my eyes, I see them screaming, and images of the great fire come rushing to my head. I just wish that I could have been more help.